Hello.
How are you, Mario?
Hello, how are you?
Baruch Hashem.
Good, good. I think in a couple of days he will change it to 8 p.m.
Is that what they, yeah. Okay.
Mincha is a bit late.
And what happens on Tuesday nights?
That's a problem. Let him decide. I don't know.
Well, I mean, in the past, what?
Maybe he will do it at 9. Maybe.
All right. Okay.
And the same will happen on Thursday, because on Thursday there's a shiur by Svika Weizman, and it's at 8. So probably we'll do it at 9 as well. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, we'll have to keep you in suspense.
Yes.
For me, I don't like the things. I mean, I like it's fine, but it's too big. You know, the Sheraton people like. I like.
Where's that?
That was our own street. But I think they're all strong, you know.
Abe, you'll have to mute yourself when we start.
Sorry?
You will have to mute yourself. Was the sound coming from you?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Eh? All right.
Hello.
Hey guys, where are we holding?
Hello.
Hi.
Harold, you already in the desert?
No, I'm still home. Going Wednesday morning.
Ah,
Mhm.
We're on 12, correct?
Yes.
Mishnah?
Where is the Mishnah? I don't think so.
Mishnah's on Amud Aleph in Milvah.
Oh, that's how far we got? Okay.
No, I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh.
I think it's the last line of 11b.
Okay.
I think, but we'll see.
Like it's crazy.
This guy,
Reading now.
this guy Glazer is an Englishman. He's not a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an Englishman.
So that explains it?
Yeah, he wants to become a mayor, obviously, in England, because all the mayors in England are Muslims. So I guess he
Yeah.
wants
You
to.
should let him send him to Ramallah. Send him to
Yeah.
Rafah,
Yeah,
whatever.
make a movie in Rafah. Let's see what happens.
About gay people.
Yeah, they told him afterwards. It was yesterday. They came out, and a non-Jewish woman said, "Yeah, just let him remember that when they come for him, he's going to be the same as everybody else." So I don't know what he's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually read what he said. I couldn't understand it. I really.
He didn't say. I think what he wanted to say is, don't use the Holocaust as an excuse to kill people, or something like that. But he refuted his Judaism. He was all over the place. I don't know. No excuse. He's still an idiot.
Let's hope he never works again.
All he needed to say was, free the hostages never again and be done. Thank you very much. I think.
Yeah, there was nothing else political. They try to keep it off the politics so that people start watching again. And here comes this guy, starts with the politics.
Well, they had Trump bashing, but besides that.
Meanwhile, Christopher Wray, the FBI director, testified to Congress that we're at the highest level of terrorist threat that the United States has ever been at.
Good. Let something happen to bad people in the United
There-
States. And you know what? Then the United States will wake up to the
He
reality
said-
of who are the good guys and who the bad guys.
He said there are Hezbollah agents, there are Hamas agents.
Right.
There's
And you know where they are? In San Diego, because they came across the border with everybody else.
Yeah, they crossed the border.
the vast majority
Let the
of
dog
the
in.
terrorists that on the watch list have come in through the south.
Yeah,
What-
Sinwar's
What
here.
was testified to.
He came in through the tunnel.
Yeah.
There's a tunnel from Gaza to El Paso.
Okay, we're in Yud Beis Amud Aleph. Chotzer is Rabbi Mishum Yad. So we were discussing how does a chotzer acquire. So it does have the status of a person's yad. Velogar mishlichus. It's certainly not less than when you appoint a shaliach. So gabi get. So then there's an nafkamina. The chavula, a woman who gets a get, it's a liability for her because she's not giving mizonos anymore. And then we said that if you throw a get into a woman's chutzner, she doesn't get it unless she's actually standing by the chutzner. So why is that? Because a get is a chov, and ein chovim la'adam ela b'fanav. You cannot be zochas for somebody shelo b'fanav if it's a chov for them. You cannot acquire something for example, if I find a lottery ticket in the name of Walter Feinblum on the street, I can pick it up and be zocha for him so nobody else gets it. And I can say, I'm picking this up for my friend Walter. Why? Because there's a principle of zoichin la'adam shelo b'fanav. Walter's going to want that schus, whether he's there or not there. But let's say there's an IOU on the street that says, I owe you $1,000 signed Walter Feinblum. I'm not allowed to pick that up unless he's present, because that's chavin, ein chavin la'adam ela b'fanav. So same thing with a get. So a get can only be acquired by the woman if she's by the chutzer. Gabi matana d'schusu lo. But when you're trying to give a gift to somebody, zachin adam shelo b'fanav. So his chutzer can acquire something, and you can be mocked for somebody, even though he's not there, even though he doesn't even know about it. Gufa. Ra oisam rotzim achra Metziah. We had the case. The owner of the field saw somebody chasing a deer through. So Amrav Yirmiyah, Amrav Yechnon, v'hu sharatz achrenu magiyan. We said if the deer is injured, now if the party running after it can reach the animal while it's there, yes, he acquires it. But if he cannot reach it, he's not coining it. So, boy, Rav Yirmiyah, the matana, hey, how does it work when you're trying to give somebody matana in this fashion? So Kiblu Minei Rav Abba Bar Kahana, that Afal Pi Sheratzach Rev Emagi, that you could give a matana even if the person running after it that cannot reach it. So boy Rava, Zorak Arniki Bepetach Zeh V'yotz Bepetach Acher Ma'u. You throw a purse full of money through the window of a house, and it flies through the airspace of the house, and it exits through a window on the opposite side of the room. Is the owner of the bias, can he be koine while it's flying through the air? Do we say ba'avir she'ein sofer lanuach kemunach dami? Even something that's moving through the air, and it's not going to come to rest, we view it as if it's at rest. Like in advanced mathematics, calculus, things like that, the instantaneously, if you track the movement of that item, at each instant you could draw a line and bring it down to the ground. So do you view it that way or not? Amar Rav Papa l'Rava, v'Amri la Ravada bar Masa l'Rava, v'Amri la Ravina l'Rava. Lav hainu masnisan. Isn't the answer to that theoretical question our Mishnah? The Mishnah of a person who owns a field and he sees somebody running through the field. Ra oson rotin achar Metziah. So we say that the guy running after it has to be able to reach it for him to be makne. And then we asked, Uboy Rav Yirmiyah b'matana hey. What about you want to give somebody a gift in this fashion? And we answered, even if it runs all the way through the field, you can give the matana. If the guy whose field it is can give the matana, even though it moved continuously through his field, even though it doesn't stay there. So based on that, we would answer that if you have a purse flying through a house, through the window from one window going out the other window, we say the balabais can acquire it. Amr lo, mizgalgil ka'amrit. Now, a deer is running on the ground. That's called a mizgalgil. Shiny mizgalgil l'kamunachda. Like when people are walking, you can say that instantaneously when he takes a step, he's connected to the ground, even though he's moving. So you cannot compare the case of a deer running through a field because he's a misgalgel and he's considered a munach, as opposed to something being thrown through the airspace of a house, and therefore we can't answer the shaila that way. So how does the Shulchan Aruch and Choshen Mishpat paskin? Arnik shenizrek v'over derech halal habayis. You throw a purse through a house. Shenichnas b'pesach zeh v'yotzach b'pesach acher. If natana zorek arnik zeh b'matana l'bal habayis. If the one who's throwing the purse had intent to give a gift to the bal habayis, and the one who wanted to give the matana changes his mind while it's in the airspace, lo zachabo balabayis. Shema achesh lo nifter abayazu b'gemara, since the Gemara didn't answer the question, nishar begetter sofek. V'lachen mashim also b'cheskas b'ala b'rishonim. We leave the purse in the ownership of the guy who threw it. We don't say that the airspace acquires it for the balabais. Of course, we paskin zachin adam shelo b'fanav, and we say in chavin adam elo b'fanav. That's psak halach. Mishnah. It says no vito aktani. Right now, let's learn that when we say b'no vito aktani, we're talking about minor sons and daughters under the age of chiyuv. O Metzias Abdo v'Shivchos HaKnani, Person has a shivcha knanis or never knanis goyim, and they find the lost object. O Metzias Ishto, or his wife finds it. Hare elu shelo, they belong to him. Rashi says, regarding your wife, Rabbanon takinu le mishum eva. It's a takana. We don't want the husband and wife to fight. And if we allowed the wife to keep it herself, it would cause strife. So we say the husband gets it. By an eved and a shivcha, the gufa koni is owned by the balabayis. Regarding the children, we're going to learn in the Gemara. However, Metzias Avdo v'shivchaso ha'ivrim, Jewish and Eved Ivri, or Amo Ivriya, or Metzias Ishto Shagirsha, or if you divorced your wife, Aval Bishlo Nosam Ksubi, you haven't given her the Ksubi yet, Hare Elu Shalahem. If they find something, they keep it. Amar Shmuel ben Meima, Amru Metzias Katan La'aviv. Why is what a cotton finds belong to the father? The cotton doesn't have kavana to be acquired for himself. And the father is happy when the son finds something, and he doesn't delay. And when he picked it up for his father. Are you telling me that a cotton doesn't have reshus to acquire something midaraisa vatanya? We have the following baraisa. You hire a worker to harvest your field. Yelakid no achra. He can bring his son, the son of the worker, to pick up sheaves like other aniyim who pick up leket. However, he hired him as a paid worker. Now, if he hired him lemechza l'shlish revia, regular workers were paid a daily wage, $10, and you pick in my field a whole day. So there he could bring his son, and the son can act like a regular ani. But if the harvester was hired as a sharecropper, where he gets 25% or 33%, he's not a day worker. So it's as if he owns part of the field. Then the son cannot pick after him because he's considered the owner of the field. And his son is like the son of a balabayas. He's not allowed to harvest. He's considered an usher. Rabbi Yossi or Ben Kach Ben Kach Yilakep, no. Ve'ishto achrav. His son and his wife can pick up the leket behind him. Amar Shmuel, halachik Rabbi Yossi. So Iyamit Bishma cotton is lezachila nafshe. If a cotton minat Torah has the right to pick something up himself and he keeps it, then we understand Shmuel, because ki komalaket l'nafshe komalaket. When the son is picking up things, he's picking up for himself, and he's zoichet for himself, because a cotton has no property. He's not considered wealthy. He's an ani, and he has permission to be malaket. And then the child gives it to the father. After he gets it from the son, the son gives it to him as a gift. But if you're going to tell me that cotton minat Torah doesn't have the right to be zochin something, ki komalaket lavid komalaket. then he's not an independent person. He's being malaked on behalf of the father, and avuaz oshiru. The father, as a sharecropper, is considered an owner of the field. So he's not an ani. He's not entitled to leket. So then amai ishto b'no malaked achrav. Why would we allow that? Must be, we've proven, that a cotton has a right of zchiyah on his own. So Shmuel time at the Tanadi Don Karmer, Valelo Svirle. Shmuel is telling us what the opinion of the Tana is, but he doesn't hold of that. Freit Gemara. Savar of Yosi Cotton Isle Zechim Deraisa. Based on the way we're learning that the cotton and the Isha was able to do it because he had his own zechus. Freit Gemara Vatnan. Metzias cheresh shoytev a cotton. If a deaf mute or a meshigana or a cotton finds something, yesh behen mishum gezel. If you take it away from them, it's considered gezel. How? Mitnei darkei shalom. Not me'ikar adin. Me'ikar adin, if you take it away from them, you're allowed to. Midaraisa, it's not theirs. Because we want peace and harmony, they created this takon. Rabbi Yosi Oimer, not only is there a takon of darkei shalom, it's gezel gomer. Now, and Rav Chizda explains what Rav Yosi means. Gezel gomer midivreim. It's gezel if you take it from them, but it's not midaraisa. Chachamim established nafkamina. What's the difference? Whether you say it's prohibited because of darkei shalom or gezel gomer, lahotzia b'dayonim. If it's gezel gomer, you can bring the gazlan to Beis Din and take the mitzvah from him. And if it's only darkei shalom, you couldn't. But comes out that Rabbi Yossi doesn't hold that a cotton can be zoichet to himself, midin Torah. So how do we explain above? Ela yesh, ela Amar Abaya. Why can the son be malakate behind his father? Sha'asu k'mishahochu bo nemushos. Now, a field that the aniyim already been through once. After that, even wealthy people can go into the field and take. So here as well, aniyim gufayu meschidatayu. The aniyim have taken their mind off this field. Savri, breidech malakit, the son of this guy is picking up leket here. So there's not going to be anything for us. So they were misyayish, and that's why the ben can do it. That's how Abai explains. Can an owner of a field put a lion there to prevent aniyim to come into his field? He's not allowed to do that. How can he bring his son? It's like a lion. Even though normally we say that a cotton doesn't have zechiyah, in this case they made him like a zocha. Why? My timer. Because aniyim gufayu nichalu. The aniyim are happy with that. So when they hire themselves out as harvesters, they can bring their sons and they'll acquire it themselves as well. And this is in contradistinction, Shmuel's halacha, from Rav Chia, that lo gadol mamish, lo cotton mamish. When the Mishnah said gadol and cotton, we assume that they were talking about a bar chiyuv, but it's not. Ela gadol samach al shulchan aviv zehu cotton. An adult above the age of 13 who's still financially dependent on his father is considered a cotton. And a cotton, so it has to do with financial dependence, not age. 1 second, I just have to get a tissue. 1 second. Okay. Good. Mitzias Avdav Shivcha Avrem Hareu Shalat. That if an Eved, Ivri, or a Shivcha, Ivri, finds something, they keep it themselves. The Gemara wants to know, Amai lo yelikapoel. Why shouldn't Eved or an Amma be like a worker? Vitanya, Mitzias Porlatzmo. A worker who picks something up while he's working can keep it. When? The Balabais hires him for a specific job. Rake with me, weed with me. While he's doing it, he finds a lost object, he can keep it. But he hired him for a general day laborer to do whatever the Balabais wants. Then Mitzias the Balabais. Then if the Hoyel finds something, it goes to the employer. Now, an Eved Ivri works for his master the whole time. So why shouldn't the master get the lost objects found by the Eved Ivri? Here we're talking about a very skilled Eved, somebody who makes holes in pearls to put them on a strand of necklace of pearls. So he's paid very highly. He makes a lot of money. He doesn't want to have him do something else. So he is treated like a worker who was hired for a specific job. Then we said, if he finds something, he can keep it. That's the first explanation. Rava Omar, the Magbia Mitziam Lachto Askina, that he didn't mevatel any time from his work for the Balabais. While he's picking something up for the Balabais, he picked up the lost object, and the master didn't lose anything. Rav Papa Omar, when do we say that what a worker picks up belongs to the Balabais? Shesachro lakit mitzias. That's a worker who was hired specifically to find lost objects. Now, normally lost objects are not found. What was this? Heichidami, the Akfe Agma Bakavri. A lake washed over a field with fish, and then the lake drew back. And all of a sudden there were hundreds of fish in this field, and he hired workers to pick them up. Therefore, if he picked up this lost item, it also goes to the Balabais. Now, we said that a shivcha, a Jewish shivcha, also can keep it. But we want to know, how shivcha echidami? What case we talking about? Ida I see stage Cyrus. Now, a girl who becomes 12 years old goes out, she's not namani. My boy Gave, what's he doing? What's she doing with a master? Is shivcha, once she gets to be 12 years old, she's free. Either law, I see stage Cyrus. If the shivcha does not have two hairs, and she's still a katana, so he is la'av. If there's a father alive, davuahavi, then what a daughter, even though she's still his daughter, and the Torah says everything that the daughter gets goes to the father. Either less la'av, if the father is not alive. So tepuk b'misa sa'ab, there's a halacha that when a father dies, the Amma Avriya goes out. Damresh Lakish, Amma Avriya konat b'misa sa'ab, mishu sa'ad mikal v'chomer. There's a kal v'chomer that when she becomes a bogeres, that she's not moitzi mishu sa'ab, but she goes out from the master. So the death of the Av certainly, which gets her out of the rishus of the father, certainly gets her out of the rishus of the Adon. So what's she doing there? We knocked this din of Reish Lakish out. Yeah, but this is another proof. Maybe this would also be a kasha. So, there is a father. It really goes to the father. And we want to show that we don't hold like Rabbah. That the Metziah doesn't belong to the Shivcha, rather to the father. Why do we say Arein Shalahen? Means it doesn't belong to the master. But the Shivcha gets it, and from there she gives it to the father. Then Metzias Ishto, if the wife finds something, even after he divorced her, after he divorced her, but hasn't given her the ksuba, she can keep it. There was a Girsha Pshita, of course. She has no connection to him. My skin on Megureshas Ve'ena Megureshas. We have a number of cases that we describe when we learn Gittin, where it's a suffix, like he threw it, and it's suffix kar of law, suffix kar of law. We say Megureshas Ve'ena Megureshas. Shomer Rav Zermer, Shmuel Kamokim, Shomer Chachamim, Megureshas Ve'Megureshas, Baal Chayvim Zoneseh. Until a real get is given, the Baal still has to provide mezonos. Now, normally, everything in the ksuba is reciprocal. The benefit that a woman gets by being required to be fed mezonos by the husband is reciprocated by any lost items she finds goes to the husband. But in this case, even though he still has to provide mezonos, this takana goes away. Why? Why did they misake that when a woman finds something, it goes to the husband, so they shouldn't fight? Here we want them to fight. We don't want them, we want him to give a good get, and we're not upset that there's more anger between them. Mishnah. Motzei shtar echov. You find a star that documents a loan. Im yesh ben achrayis nechasim. If the loan is backed by land, there's a lien on a field, then lo yachzir. We should not return the star to the parties. They should Beis Din Yifron mehem. If Beis Din finds such a star, they'll collect. Even if the field has been sold to a third party, you get it from the third party because the pre-existing loan, the loan pre-existed. You know, there was a lien on that field that was sold, so you can go to the person that it was sold to and get it back. If it's a star that's not backed by land, yachzir. Lefishein Beis Din Nifroim behen. If Reb Meir, Beis Din will not collect from such a star. According to the Chachamim, Beis Din, if they find the star, will demand that it be paid back. Now again, the Gemara goes through exactly what the case is. B'mayaskina. Here, if we're talking about a case where the borrower admits, yeah, I borrowed $1,000 and it hasn't been paid yet. So just because there's a shibud on land, why shouldn't we return it? Hamoide. He admits that there was a loan. If the borrower argues, no, I never borrowed this, or he says, yeah, I borrowed it, but I paid it back, and the star was given to me, and I didn't tear it up, and I dropped it, and now it's been picked up by somebody. Still a mayachzir. Fine. There's no land. It can't be collected from land that was sold. But but you could go to the lov and collect from the taltalin. And the lov is claiming that he's paid it back already. The case is the borrower admits the $1,000 I borrowed. So why lo yachzer? Hachaynu taima. The chayshiran shemakosov lilvos benisim. The lo love ad tishrei. The date of the loan is first day of Nisan, but it wasn't funded until the first day of Tishrei. Now, the problem is, maybe land was sold between Nisan and Tishrei, but that field, since it was not funded yet, had no lien. So there was no shibud. Because there's only a shibud once it's funded. And by mistake, if you let Beis Din collect on such a shtar that's found, Ossi Lemitra, if they're going to come, take from people who purchased that field. Now, if we're worried about this, about an early date, that the date of the loan is 6 months earlier when it was funded, why are we concerned about every star that comes in front of us? The same problem. The problem is kol shtori lo rei. A star that shows up to Beis Din hasn't been weakened. Here it's been weakened because it was found as a lost object. It wasn't with the malva, right? There wasn't no complaint against it. Hani rei. Here it was lost, and there's a doubt what's going on here. So there's already a weakness where we can come up with these other issues. We don't come up with the other issues when a star is not weakened. But we still ask. Elohadis nan koisvin star leloive afu pishen malva ima. So the question is, the borrower wants to borrow $1,000. He has the star. Can he write the star even though the lender's not there? He can't. Listen. Who is the star a problem? It's for the love there. So if he's there and he writes it, what's the problem? However, how would we write such a star? Lilvos benisin and lo lava tishrei. The lava will play, be a trickster, and he'll write a loan and predate it 6 months from when it was funded. And then we'll have the same problem, that you'll go and collect from land that had been sold before the loan was actually funded. Okay. Tomorrow,
Shkoyach, shkoyach.
we'll learn at 7:30, and